Hey guys, it's Christine with Indigo Wings, and I'm here to do the weekly Twin Flame video for you. This week's reading is going to be for May 29th through June 4th. I can't believe that we are almost to June. I feel like this year is kind of going by really quickly. I don't really have a lot to talk about before I get into the reading. We did just have a new moon. I believe it was on Thursday, I think the 24th, that for some could have maybe affected you a little bit. For some, it may have been kind of a stronger energy. I want to let everybody know that my store is going to be closed from, I haven't picked the date exactly yet. It's going to depend on just kind of what my schedule looks like, but right around June 8th or 9th through approximately June 18th, because I am going to be going away on vacation, and I'm going to close a little bit before I leave so that I have time to take care of any outstanding orders before new ones come in, so just so that you have time to plan around that, because I looked at a calendar and I realized how soon that was. So if you are wanting to schedule a reading with me, and you don't want to wait until after June 18th, I would get that scheduled with me within the next week or so, because June 8th is coming up really quickly. I'm going to try to keep my video schedule the way it is. I'm going to try not to let my time away affect the video schedule, because I know that so many of you appreciate the videos and don't want to miss them. I should be okay to get the one out the for the week of June 12th. I'm not positive about the following week, so I'm going to do my best, but just know that I might miss a week, but I will try. I'm going to try not to. So I'm going to jump into the reading. For those of you who are new to my channel and to my readings, I don't like to use terms like runner, chaser. I use feminine and I use masculine. This side for me is the feminine and this side is the masculine. I know with my camera setup you can't really see how the cards are laid out, but I go through everything as I talk. Please know that even though I am talking about the divine feminine and the divine masculine, this can apply to same-sex couples as well. I stick with the feminine and masculine, he, she, because it's just a little bit easier for the purpose of this video. Also, males can embody more of the feminine energy, and females can embody more of the masculine energy. So don't assume just because you are a female that you are the feminine. Don't assume that because you are a male, you are the masculine. And as always, if this message resonates with you, wonderful. If it doesn't, that's okay too. This just isn't the message for you. I ask my guides and God to give me the messages that are most needed to be heard at this time, and for as many people as possible. So I just get what comes through. If this message resonates with you, if it feels like I'm talking directly to you, then I am the reader for you, and I would love to work with you. So consider scheduling a reading with me. But yeah, if this doesn't resonate with you, take what does, leave the rest, don't worry about it. And I think that's it. I am planning on hopefully doing another video, not a card reading, but there is a theme that keeps coming up. It came up last week in my video. It's coming up this week. I'm seeing it coming up a ton with my clients, in different groups, and I don't want to address it too much in a reading because I do feel like it's applicable to everybody, but not everybody may feel like it's applicable to them, so I don't want anyone to feel like I'm lecturing them or anything like that if it's not something they are ready to listen to. So I don't want to touch on it too much, but be on the lookout for that video as well. So let's see. You know, I always sit here and contemplate, like I'm gonna start with something different, but I always end up starting with the feminine energy. I kind of wonder if maybe it's because I resonate with the feminine energy. So, you know, maybe if it's just because I'm just drawn to that. I'm also left-handed and it's on my left side, so it could just be I just innately go that way. I don't know. The first card that comes up on the feminine side is helpless and hopeless. And I'm not surprised to see this. This is actually, you know, kind of along the lines of where the energy was for the video last week in the beginning. And if you remember, if you watched my video last week, I did kind of feel like that reading was not so much for a 1 week period, but that was going to be kind of for a longer period of time. You know, and so I feel like this helpless and hopeless card is, you know, representing a similar energy to what that win or lose card did from last week's video. And you'll see why when I start talking about the card that came up from the masculine. But the feminine, and I do feel like I'm going to be talking to a very specific group within the feminine. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people watching this that can relate in some way, shape, or form. But I don't feel like this particular scenario is going to apply to all of you. But something has come up for you where you're in this position where, you know, you feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You feel helpless and hopeless. You feel like no matter what you do, it's not going to work out for you. You know, you're trying to figure out what you want to do, and you feel like, you know, like either road you go, you know, it's the same. And where you're standing right now, it's not looking so good. I mean, you've got dry, cracked ground, you know, and these stairs that you have to go up, and you have to walk through this desert. And then you have to get to these mountains. But when you get to that point, do you not see that these stairs, it takes you to this green area. It takes you to the same exact place. You know, these mountains are the same, it's the same place. So many of you feel like you have to do something. You know, you have to stay or go, or, you know, you need to make a choice. And it doesn't matter what you do, because you're going to end up exactly where you are supposed to be. You know, and it's going to be good. You've got this green and sunshine at the end of wherever it is that you're going to go. You know, you're not going to be in this dry, barren place anymore. And it looks like it's a hopeless, barren situation, a desolate situation right now, but it's not. And the clarifying card that came up here is Heart Awakening. Now, the majority of the feminine twins they are awakened. So this is not so much about going through any kind of a spiritual awakening or anything like that, but it's the message I'm getting here is about, and if you can hear any of the background noise, I apologize. We have a lot of stuff going on in the house and outside the house today. This is about opening up to accepting divine love and like not trying to control how it comes to you. You know, awakening to looking at things from a different way. I feel like so many feminine twins have an expectation of what this should look like, that when it doesn't look the way they want it to, they just lose all hope. And it's when we let go of those expectations of what the outcome is going to look like, and when we let go of the expectations of what the relationship should look like, what love should look like, when we let go of those things and we just be, we're more open, and things are going to flow much better. And you're going to really be very pleasantly surprised with the things that come to you. You know, and this is the area kind of what I'm going to be doing that additional video on. And some people are ready to have this conversation. Some people aren't. And so that's why I don't want to talk about it too much in this video, because I don't want anyone to be forced to hear this if they don't want to and they're just interested in the reading. So the card that came up for the masculine was very interesting. More of the clarifying cards that came up. And again, I do feel like I'm talking to a more specific group. You know, for some of you, points of this may hit, but the whole picture, I feel like this is, you know, a more targeted group, this particular situation. But the card that comes up is heart chakra for the masculine. And you know, when I first got this card, I'm like, okay, there's definitely something that is going on, and you know, there's going to be some heart healing. And so when I pulled the clarifying cards, I got White Eagle, which is ancestor spirit. But what this card is about, this is about a pattern that can be healed now. And this could potentially be a pattern, this is a pattern that's happening now in their lives. And I feel like this could be something that has happened throughout their entire life in relationships. This is definitely something that's happening in their current relationship if they are with somebody. And that's who I do feel like this is specifically for, because now I'm going to start getting into specifics. But this can also be like for some, this is something that's going way back even into past lives. Like this is a pattern that they have over and over that's coming up and they need to heal. But so what I'm seeing for many of for the feminine who are in this, helpless and hopeless, it's triggered by their masculine twin, choosing to kind of stick it out or stay with for a little longer, or, whatever that's looking like with that partner they're currently with. But the reason that's happening is because they're healing a wound. There's a pattern that they are going to be healing and breaking, and that needs to happen in order for them to be able to move forward, and in order for them to be able to ever come together with you in a healthy, fully loving relationship. They have to fix this. And so I pulled some Lenormands, and the Lenormands were very interesting to me. I got the Fish, which this breaks down to a 7, spiritual path. Got the Whip, which is an 11 for the twin number. And then the Bouquet, which is a 9. So, this is, end of a cycle, wrapping things up, things ending. And what these 3 cards are telling me is that this is a relationship that has frequent arguments, and they're in this constant cycle of fight and then kiss and make up, fight, kiss and make up, fight, like over and over and over. And it's I think we all know some sort of dynamic like that, whether we're in one ourselves or we've heard about it from somebody, where they're like, oh yeah, we fight like cats and dogs, but the makeup sex is so great, or the making up is so perfect, or whatever it is. It's unhealthy in this situation, and it's really it's not good, and that is what is it's a pattern that for many it's been their whole life in relationships. A lot of fighting. For some, this has been something through many lifetimes. There's been a lot of conflict, and so they're whatever this partnership is that they have, many it's karmic. It's a lesson to help them heal this. And it's really important that they're able to get through this. So as hard as it is for so many that are in this helpless and hopeless period, it's getting you to where you want to be. It really, really is. It really, really is. And so I'm going to go up to the next card for the masculine. The next card is the solar plexus chakra. And so the solar plexus chakra, this is, about your self-esteem. This is where your confidence is. This is like where your personal power comes from. And I feel like this karmic relationship or soulmate relationship or whatever this is that they are in, they feel like they have no power. It has been stripped from them. And, you know, and they're also feeling like this is their lot in life. Like they don't deserve to have the relationship that they desire. And so that is something else that is going to be worked on. They're going to be healing that. They're going to start realizing that they want their power back, and that they do deserve love, that they do deserve the relationship that they desire. The clarifying card that I pulled here is Joan of Arc, the voice of truth. And so, you know, they are going to start either, you know, in whatever way that Spirit is going to communicate this through them, you know, they're either, you know, they're going to feel it, they're going to hear it, they're going to know it, that they have their own power in this situation and they can choose. You know, and, you know, the Joan of Arc card, it's about standing strong and releasing fear of persecution. And I really do feel like so many of the masculine twins that are kind of in this situation, fear of persecution is right. Some of them do not have, there's some people in their lives that make things difficult for them, that they truly give their power away to this person. And so they are learning how to take that back and not be afraid anymore. That's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big step for them, because even though they've made a lot of strides, they still have that fear. The next card on the feminine side is joy and stability. And so this is gonna kind of play again off of the video that I want to do. The feminine, I'm trying to think how I want to say this. I'm not sure who's going to kind of play off of, one of you is going to be helping the other in this by raising your vibrations. And I don't know if it's going to be the masculine twin realizing his power and raising his vibrations through that and through healing his wounds, and that's going to help raise the feminine's vibration and put her in a better place, or if she's just going to make the choice to do it on her own. But this card is a 4, which represents stability, joy and stability. Joy and stability is a really good place to be in, because this is the vibration that you are going to attract your twin to you. When we are in a place of despair and sadness and anger and all these lower vibrational energies, you repel your twin from you. You know, they may you know, communicate with you, but pay attention to what the communication is like and what the interactions are like when your vibration is low versus when it's high. And I mean like genuinely high. You're gonna see a difference. Because you have to remember that for people who are true twins, you are your twin and your twin is you. So when you're cranky and down and in low vibration, they are too. And so for some feminine twins, I feel like you're going to start to get that, and you're going to start working on, you know what, I'm going to focus on my joy. You know, you're going to realize that you're going to get to the point you're going to get to and it's going to happen when it's going to happen. But for now, you're going to be happy because you deserve to be happy, not because, you know, you're not going to focus on joy and stability and being happy just so that you get together with your twin. Some of you are going to start to feel better because your twin is raising your vibration. So I think there's going to be like, kind of like, it's just going to depend on who you are and what your own personal situation is, who's helping who on this. The clarifying card that I pulled here is Mother Mary, which is love and peace. So that just, you know, kind of confirms and goes along so nicely with the joy and stability. When you have joy and stability, you have love and peace. You know, they kind of go hand in hand, you know, and part of this is, you know, letting go of the need to be right. So, you know, choosing your battles, letting go of the little things, you know, because when you really love somebody unconditionally, you can let things go. Like, you are able to see, okay, some things are just not that big of a deal, and you can communicate in ways that are respectful and authentic without smothering each other and overwhelming each other, and you know, you can get your needs across to each other without lowering your vibration. So, you know, if you're one of those people that's like, yeah, but, or, you know, you always want to have the last word, let go of that, because that's going to help you in this place of, you know, being in your joy and following your joy. The next card on the masculine side is nurture. And, you know, I feel like with some of these realizations and the healing that he's going to go through, you know, he's going to focus on, you know, his own healing and his own light, and seeing where that takes him. And the clarifying card that I pulled here was divine healing, which is exactly what's going on here. And you've got the green crystal right in the area of the heart chakra, you know, which is kind of, you know, just for the purposes of this reading, is indicating to me that, yeah, you know, that wound is being healed. And this card even specifically says, retreat to recharge and heal. It also says that your light can support others. And so I do feel like, you know, this is going to be another step ahead for the masculine. And this step ahead, it's going to help the feminine twin. There's going to be, you know, some back and forth helpfulness here without even realizing it. And, you know, I know a lot of you, a lot of times people are asking, well, am I going to hear from my twin? Am I going to communicate with my twin? I think it's really going to depend on your own individual situations. I feel like there's a lot of twins who are in similar situations to this that communicate with their twins. I don't really see that changing too much. Maybe communicating a little less. Those that aren't communicating, I don't see that changing a whole lot either. You know, for these outer cards parts. So the next card that comes up for the feminine is Spread Your Wings. And I feel like this card is a really important one for the feminine, because I'm feeling like with this, you know, this is a moment for her to take off and do whatever it is that she needs to be doing to fulfill her purpose and to fulfill her soul. You know, do and focus on the things that are going to make her happy and the things that she wants to do, following her joy and her passions. And when I was shuffling the deck for a clarifier, 3 cards fell out of the deck. And I feel like they all like go so well together, but also go really well with the Spread Your Wings cards. So the first one is Divine Order, which is, you know, a really important lesson is unfolding here. You know, going with your intuition, doing what you feel is right. The next card is Transcendence, which this is a card about rising up and honoring your inner force, which is, you know, reminds me a lot of the Spread Your Wings, you know, that with the path on that card, it goes straight up, you know, rising up. You know, and this card reminds you that steps are being given on what you should be doing. So make sure you're paying attention to your inner wisdom, your intuition. And then the next card is Mary Magdalene, which is Teacher Awakens. And so I feel like, you know, for the masculine, you know, this is a next step for them. For the feminine, I feel like this is a step up for the feminine, because the Teacher Awakens, you know, this is following your inner call, and don't let anything stop you. You have something important to share. And it reminds me of, if any of you watched the Leo King's live video that I mentioned in my video last week, where he says, this is a huge opportunity, don't mess it up. It reminds me of being that moment for many of the feminine twins. Like, this is a huge opportunity for you for massive growth, to change your life. Don't miss it. Which I thought was really, really cool. So the crowning energy that both twins are coming into is manifest. So, you know, you have a 1 for new beginnings, and this is truly, you know, I feel like both twins are realizing, you know, that a lot of this is, it's in their hands. That, you know, if they focus on the right things, that they can bring this union together. And the clarifying card I pulled here is Prayer and Contemplation. Ask and you shall receive. So that kind of goes along with manifest. You know, if we want the universe to give us something, we need to tell them what we want, right? Or tell it what we want. And I pulled some Lenormands for this, and I got the Garden, the Coffin, and then the Sun. And so the Garden and the Coffin together indicates like a public ending, but then the Coffin and the Sun together, you know, and so like the Garden and the Coffin, you know, something's coming to an end. But then the Coffin and the Sun together is talking about second chances, starting fresh. If there was a situation with difficulties, it's going to be improving. But that is after there's an ending of something. And that, you know, I know that there are many twins that are both in relationships. You know, so that could be on either side that this is happening. It could be on both sides. But things are, for some twins, are going to start changing. The grounding energy is pretty cool, given what I've been saying for this reading. It's giving and receiving, and you've seen it as I'm talking about it, that it's like there's an underlying give and take. You know, as one is doing something, it's helping the other. Like there's stuff happening behind the scenes and in 5D that as one works on their own stuff and their own happiness, it just helps the other. So it's a give and take, a giving and receiving. And the clarifying card I pulled here is phases and cycles. And what's interesting that what this card says is there's a beginning with every ending. Isn't that kind of interesting? With what I just said with the manifestation card. And then this is also a card that's illusions are revealed and released. The underlying energy for the feminine is opportunity beckons. And again, like right away, I was thinking of the Leo King in that this is your time. Don't mess it up. Take the opportunities that are coming towards you, because these are opportunities for your growth and to change your life. And the clarifying card I pulled here is devotion. And this card is about trusting your spiritual guidance. And so you're being guided. And I mean, how many times have I said that you are being guided? So follow your guidance. Now, the underlying energy for the masculine twin is moving on. And boy, do I think that this is an appropriate card for the masculine. Now, before any of the feminine freak out that, you know, oh, is he moving on, you know, away from me? No, I don't think that that's what this card is about. He is moving on to more abundant things, because it's hard to see. And he is walking away from an area where there is no growth. There's no flowers. And he's moving to a place where things grow and there's abundance. Where things, I'm trying to think of the word that I want to use. Things are plentiful. You know, there's sustenance, so plants can grow, and there's life. There's no life here. There's no life. There's life here. He's moving on from no life. And the clarification card that I pulled here is higher learning. This card is all about learning from experience. So the masculine has learned from experience. He is learning through his experience what he needs to do and where he needs to go. And, you know, some of you may not like this part. It may not apply to everybody, but more inner study is needed to further progress. So, you know, and that kind of goes along perfectly with that nurture and the divine healing. They need to do some more inner work before they're ready for anything else. They have some more stuff to do. Now, the oracle card that I pulled today is chaos and conflict, but it was in the protection position. And I feel today like that is I feel like that's the message that is meant to be read today. So I'm just going to stick with that one. So this is an advantageous moment to restore order and recognize the opportunity for negotiation. Even in the seeming chaos, there is a kind of divine order, a complete resorting of elements. This is powerful. If your intention is to find the best solution for the highest good of all, there is positive news. The timing is perfect. Things are already stirred up, so don't be afraid to jump into the mix. You'll discover everything you need to know about how the situation affects you long term. Be present in the eye of chaos. This moment is valuable. Don't waste it. So again, that message is coming across about this is a big moment. This is a big time full of opportunities. Don't mess it up. Don't miss these opportunities, because it's going to be a little while before they come around again. So that is all I've got for you for this week. I hope that it was helpful for you guys. If you are interested in having a personal reading with me, please check out my website, which is www.indigowingshealing.com. You can also find me on Facebook, facebook.com/indigowingshealing. You can also email me at indigowingshealing@gmail.com. And we also have a Facebook group, which is Indigo Wings Soul Connections. And I think that is all I've got. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful week if you're in the United States. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. I hope that you are able to enjoy time with your friends and family. Thank you to our veterans and to our armed forces for all you do for us. And I will be talking to you all soon. Take care.